What's going on, guys? It's Anime1 back here with another video, and today we're going to be discussing what if Naruto was taken by Jiraiya for 3 years. Part 8. So let's begin the video. Naruto opened his eyes to see he was in a weird place, similar to a sewer. Naruto felt a huge amount of killing intent as he went in that direction. He kept walking for a while until he saw a cage. So, my jailer has finally come to see me, a dark voice said, as Naruto went towards that direction. Who are you? Naruto said as he looked at the cage. He had a good idea of who it was, but it wouldn't harm to ask. As soon as he said that, two red eyes opened and glared at him. Don't play dumb with me, brat. You know who I am, Nine-Tailed Fox said, as Naruto sat down. The fox raised an eyebrow at the boy's carefree attitude. Well, I've been wanting to talk to you for a while now, Naruto said with a smile as Kurama was surprised. You could sense that this boy had no emotion towards him, no fear. Why aren't you afraid of me? The Nine-Tailed Fox asked him. Without a moment of hesitation, Naruto answered, because you're misunderstood. This time, surprise was visible on Kyuubi's face, which was quickly followed by anger. What did you just say? Choose your word next carefully, brat, he growled out. Naruto wasted no time in answering. In all the books I read, they describe you as a being of pure hatred. But that's only a one-sided understanding, isn't it? He asked with a sad smile. Before Kyuubi could answer, Naruto continued. Humans fear what they can't understand. The foremost aspect of your personality that they have seen is hatred, which is a big part of you, of course. Conceals the being underneath that feels emotion just like us. Isn't that right, Nine Tails? Kyuubi was astounded at the amount of understanding that his host showed towards him. Perhaps he could. If you wouldn't mind, a hesitant smile appeared on Naruto's face. Would you be my friend? Naruto asked. Why? You know I killed your parents, yet you don't hate me. Why? The Kyuubi asked as Naruto smiled. Well, it would be nice to have my parents here, but I know what you wanted. You wanted freedom. Freedom of being used as a weapon, that's why. I don't blame you. If I was in your position, I would have done the same thing, Naruto said with a sad smile. Kyuubi just looked at Naruto. Now he had no doubt about this child was the special. He imagined himself in other position instead of judging them by their actions. First time in centuries, the Kyuubi smiled. A true smile. So, what's your name? Naruto asked in a curious tone as Kyuubi raised an eyebrow. All humans call me the Nine-Tails. Why is it any different for you? The Kyuubi said. Well, they're dumbasses. I'm sure that you have a name. No one's name is actually the Kyuubi, similar to the One-Tails, but no one calls him One-Tails. They call him Shikaku by his real name, Naruto said as the Kyuubi stare dropped. You know, brat, you're too smart for your own good, Kyuubi said as Naruto rubbed the back of his head. I get that a lot. Now, will you tell me what's your name? Naruto asked as Kyuubi hesitated, but answered. Kurama. My name is Kurama. Naruto smiled. It's nice to meet you, Kurama. You already know my name, so introducing myself would be stupid, Naruto said as Kurama chuckled. Then Kurama's face turned serious. I have removed the curse seal of that snake, but remember, kid, don't tell anyone about this. Only tell Jiraiya, that's also when he asks, Kurama said as Naruto nodded. I'm guessing that since we are friends now, I can talk to you without coming to my mindscape, Naruto said as Kurama nodded. Then a scared look came on Naruto's face. How the hell will I get out of my mindscape? Naruto said as Kurama's sweat dropped. This kid was not afraid of him, but he was afraid that he would be stuck in his mindscape. Calm down, kid. Once you wake up in the real world, you will exit out of the mindscape, and when you want to enter the mindscape, just think about it and I will do the rest. Kuruma said as Naruto nodded. Now get out. I need to sleep, Kuruma said as he kicked Naruto out of the mindscape. Naruto opened his eyes to see he was in a grey room with white curtains on the roads of the ceiling with a window on right side of the bed. Okay, I'm in the infirmary of some sorts. Damn, I guess that means we failed the test, Naruto thought. He was pretty bummed out at the thought of losing the exam. They were so close to passing. They had a plan and they were strong to execute it, but one little snake crumbled it all down. Naruto began to glance around the room, some more to see that there was a person on his left. A raven-haired girl with the Uchiha symbol on her back was sleeping on his bed with her arms on her head, her face turning opposite to him. Suki, he mumbled. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, she was here. She hasn't left your side since you were put in here, Kuruma said, as Naruto looked at her and blushed. Why the hell am I blushing? Naruto thought as Kuruma chuckled in his mindscape. Bastard, Naruto said. Suki took this chance to wake up and rub her eyes from the grogginess of her sleep. Once she did, she looked up and saw Naruto there, looking at her. The Uchiha widened her eyes as he saw he was up and well. She had a small traces of tears forming in her eyes. Naruto. The blonde turned to her and smiled slightly. Hey, Sue, you idiot! She charged into his arm and held him, shakingly, slightly. You had no idea how scared I was. I thought you were gonna. She couldn't stop her tears begin to fall down on Naruto's neck. Naruto remained shocked from a sudden embrace. She looked down at his neck and saw the back of the curse seal. It's gone. Naruto knew immediately what she was talking about and smiled as she faced him. Yeah, well, I guess it was. Duh, then huh? The Uchiha female looked at him in a suspicion but decided to let it go. Naruto, why did you do that? Why did you jump in front of me? It should have been me, Suki said. Jump in front. I guess she was so focused on Orochimaru that she didn't even notice that I used the Hiraishin, Naruto thought. Then he heard the rest of her words. Naruto frowned. Don't be a fool, Suki. You are my closest friend. Like I would stand by and watch you get branded by the pedophile. Suki glared at him, but I didn't ask you to. I was ready for the consequences. It should have been slap. Uchiha girl's head was turned to the side, forcefully by Naruto's hand. Do you really think that I need a specific reason as to why I jumped in front of you and took the curse mark instead of you? When my friend is in danger, that I would simply watch it and do nothing. If so, don't understand me, Shuki. Suki was in awe and sadness at Naruto's face. As he looked at her, he was hurt and disappointment. Naruto, if you must have a reason, I guess to put it in words. I didn't want you to be hurt by this. I have ties to that man that even Jiraiya Sensei thinks is crazy. I stepped in to save you because I care about you, Suki. That made the Uchiha girl heart throb in pain. She didn't know what this feeling was, but she didn't like it, especially when it was Naruto who starts it. Well, forget about me. Is Sasuke okay? And did we pass the exam? Naruto said as the Uchiha girl looked at him. Sasuke is fine. He is currently resting in his room, and yes, we did pass the exam because of Ino and Hinata's team. Suki said as Naruto raised an eyebrow. Please elaborate. Naruto said as Suki told him everything after he fainted. Naruto, what did Orochimaru meant that you have mastered that jutsu? Suki said as Naruto was now sweating. What was he supposed to tell her, that he was the son of the greatest hero of Konoha? Hell no. Well, Before Naruto could open his mouth, someone came into the room. So, you're up, Senju said as he walked in the room. Well, yeah, my body hurts a bit, but I'll be fine in a few hours, Naruto said. As Senju nodded and looked at his neck, where the curse seal was. So, the QB completely erased the seal, huh? Senju thought. Very well, rest up. The third round of the exams will be started tomorrow, Senju said as he left the room. Well, I'll bring something to eat. Don't move from your bed. You're still not recovered, Suki said in a dangerous tone as Naruto gulped and nodded. Man, women are scary, Naruto thought. Tell me, Kurama said. So it's Naruto, and Kurama chuckled. Naruto had finished eating and now he and Suki were talking. He had told her and that he would be fine and told her to rest, but she insisted to stay and he had to agree. So while I was out, who made it to the tower? Suki spoke. Well, we weren't first here as we lost to the Kumo and Suna team, Suki said as Naruto nodded. Hey kid, Kurama said. What is it, Kurama? Naruto asked. The brat from the sand has the Shikaku inside of him, and the Kunoichi from Kumo has the two tails, Kurama said as Naruto's eyes widened. So that's why I was having a bad feeling about Gaara, Naruto said as Kurama said nothing. But if that's the case, why don't I sense any ill intent from the other Kumo Kunoichi? Naruto said as Kurama spoke. Well, the sealing jutsu in the sand are very bad, and I'm guessing that seal that is on Gaara is pretty bad as well. And due to that, Shikaku is able to mess with the boy's head and turn him insane. Kurama explained as Naruto sighed. Things were getting more complicated by the second. Time skip, a day later. All the teams had arrived. Team 7 was in a pretty good condition. Naruto was completely healed thanks to Kurama. Sasuke was rubbing his neck where the curse mark was. Tsuki kept glancing at the teams, looking around for competition. Team 8 was looking rather good since they had arrived earlier and helped Naruto and his team. Kiba made sure everyone knew it was well, which utterly annoyed everyone. Well, he was in the clear until his mat gets up. Shino was as silent as ever, while Hinata kept glancing over at Neji of Team 9 and at Naruto, who didn't pay her any attention, though he did notice her wanting once and knew deep down she was a creep. Team 9 was also doing better than most teams as they had arrived earlier as well. Tenten was busy
He really
eyeing the
didn't
sword
understand
at
Naruto's
Naruto's
infatuation with his blade,
which kinda
but
unnerved
if
him.
she tried to steal Enma from him, the blade would drain all of her chakra, nearing killing her, so he ignored her. Rock Lee was just running on the spot as he probably didn't get too crazy extreme exercise this morning, so he was a bit off today. Neji was just standing there, eyeing the people like they were beneath him and his power. Team 10 was a bit roughed up. Once Sycamore gets his nap and Shoji gets some food, they'll be right as rain. Ino just looked a bit down in the dumps as he watched Sasuke sadly, but other than that, they looked fine. Though, why Ino was sad when she looked at Sasuke instead of in all but action, dropping her panties for the weirdo was a mystery to Naruto. Hiruzen then started to clear his throat. Now we reach the preliminaries rounds of the tuning exams. Normally, we would have finals get here, but again, there are too many of you here, and as such, we need to lessen the numbers. Your proctor for the exam will be Hayato Heiko here. Your name will be automatically picked. Now before we start, is there anyone who wishes to drop out of here? A few hands got up. Some from Kiri and most from Eva Gaining Group. Drop out, being too tired, there was only one who stayed. None of them are too suspicious as one Kabuto. Naruto was as soon as he left the room. Inoichi and Ibiki left the room to follow him. Very well. We shall now begin. The matches end by either knockouts or death. If I declare the winner, the matches end immediately. Understood? Hayate said, eyeing them with a serious gaze, and everyone nodded. Names will appear on the electric board randomly, Hayate explained as the board started shuffling through names. Since we have an odd number of contestants, one of you will advance immediately to the third round of the tuning exams, Hayate explained as the board went random names. Kuroshuchi from Eva will have a free pass, Hayate said. Well, this is good for me. I won't have to reveal any of my secrets, Kuroshuchi thought as he smirked. Matches will be as follows. Sasuke versus Rin Uzumi. This match goes the same as canon. Suki Uchiha versus Ino Yamanaka. Please step up into the arena to begin your match, Hayate said. I think I don't need to say much who would win. Suki appeared in front of Ino and punched her, knocking her out. Yep, that was very easy and a pathetic match. Winner of the match, Suki Uchiha, Hayate said as Naruto smirked. Yujito Ni versus Kiba Inuzuka. Please step into the arena and begin your match, Hayate said. Begin, Hayate said again. You should just give up. I don't want to hurt a cute girl like you, Kiba said with an arrogant smirk. In the stands, Killer Bee and his team paled when Kiba said those words. Man, now that guy's done for, Amoy said as Kari chuckled. That mud deserves what happens to him, she said. Done. In the arena, Yujito's claw extended as he took a stance with a pissed off look on her face. You will pay for what you just said. I'm a proud kunoichi of Kumao, she said as she rushed towards Kiba. Kiba didn't even have enough time to react when he was sent flying with a fist to his gut. Kiba picked himself up and looked at Akamaru. You bitch, you pay, Kiba said as he tossed Akamaru a pill as Akamaru jumped on his back. Man-beast clone, he said as Akamaru turned into Kiba as they both rushed towards Yugito. Punch, kick, trying to claw off Yugito's face, all were failing. Yugito was just dodging Kiba's attack with no difficulty as he caught Kiba's leg and pulled him towards her and kicked him in the gut as Kiba spit out saliva. Kiba was on one knee. That kick was not a normal kick, he thought, as he picked himself up. Now, Akamaru, let's go all out, Kiba said as him and Akamaru started spinning. Fang over fang, he said as they both rushed at Yugito. Yugito was standing there still when Kiba was about to hit her. She put her chakra into her feet and jumped. Yugito, being in midair, went through hand signs. Fire style, streaming flames, he said as a stream of fire rushed towards Kiba, being in mid-air and tried to dodge the attack but could not do it, so he had to take the attack head on. It took some time, but when the smoke cleared, Kiba was standing with burn marks all over his body. Before he could recover, Yugito appeared in front of him and grabbed his face and slammed his head in the ground, knocking Kiba out. Winner by knockout, Yugito Ni, Hayate said as Naruto narrowed his eyes. She is strong, there's no doubt about it, Naruto thought, being wary of that girl. Hey, Kurama, what do you think Yugito can use the Two Tails chakra? Naruto said to Kurama. Well, the Two Tails is soft and mostly cooperates with humans easily, so I think she can, Kurama said as Naruto nodded. All the other fights goes as same as canon. I'm gonna cover the fights that don't go the same in the anime. Next match, Naruto Uzumaki versus Amoy of the Cloud. Please come to the arena, Hayate said as both boys jumped down and looked at each other. Are you ready? Both boys nodded. Begin, Hayate said as he jumped up. Naruto and Amoy unseated their swords back at the stances. Tenten eyes widened when she saw the blade that Naruto was holding. That sword, she said. All the other genins looked at her. Why are you scared, Tenten? It's just a sword, Lee said, but Guy knew why she was scared. That sword is Enma, one of the most powerful blades that exist in the world, 9 swords of the myth, and Enma is also said to be strongest among all of those 9 swords. Tenzin said as Nezi raised an eyebrow. Power can a sword provide its users, he said as Guy spoke. The 9 swords possess power that can give you the power to rival a Kage if you master the sword properly, that is. Senzuru-sama is the prime example. He possesses the fire sword and is stronger than all the Sanins. The sword have different powers. 6 of them are known till this day, and they can be wielded. They are fire, water, earth, lightning, ice, and wind. Those 2 blades or power are unknown. If anyone was tried to wield them has their chakra drained from them immediately or even dies in some cases. Guy said as all the Genin's eyes widened as they looked at Naruto. That doesn't mean Naruto can't defeat his sword, it's only at a level 1. A voice said as all Genins turned. See, it was Senzuru who spoke. The swords have levels? Sugi asked as Senzuru nodded. 5 levels. You see, the sword when it comes to its master, it syncs with its master and you have to go through many stages to achieve the 5th level of the sword and it's not easy, Senzuru said as all the Genin looked at him. How can Naruto hold the blade without getting his chakra completely drained? Asked Chogichi as Senzuru looked at him seriously. Because Enma chose Naruto as his master, he said. Back to the fight. Both Naruto and Amoy were clashing with the swords, just trying to figure out their opponent before going all out. This guy is fragile, from what I can see, and guess he has the affinity for lightning. His Kenjutsu skill are mid-tuning level, Naruto thought, as both him and Amoy jumped back. This guy from our class I can tell is stronger than I am, but if I give up, Karu and Yudito will fry me alive. Then, when we go back to the village, Lord Raikage will probably lecture me to no end and my mom. I don't want to think about it. It's better if I go all out and not give up, Omoy thought. Omoy's sword was now covered in lightning as Naruto got his guard up as he looked at the sword covered in lightning and covered his own sword in wind chakra. He has affinity for wind. Things couldn't get any worse, Amoy thought. In a blink of an eye, both Naruto and Amoy were gone, and were in the middle of the arena, their swords fighting for dominance. It was clear that Naruto had the advantage, as Amoy applied chakra to his feet to jump over Naruto and went through hand signs, lightning style, electromagnetic murder. Amoy said, as he launched a lightning bolt towards Naruto, who went through hand signs of his own, lightning style. Thunderclap arrow, Naruto said, as he launched a stream of lightning towards Amoy. Both attacks collided as he formed a small explosion. Both fighters rushed at each other again, lightning style. Sword thunder, Amoy said, as his sword was cackling with lightning. Wind style, calm winds, Naruto said. Without making a sound, he rushed at Amoy. Both fighters clashed their sword as Amoy was blown black. So was Naruto. Even when I applied my wind chakra to my blade, he cancelled out my attack. His affinity for lightning might be higher than mine, Naruto thought, with a smirk. In that case, I'll have to end this with my next attack. The one who is faster will win this match, Naruto thought. Amoy got up and grabbed his sword. I need to finish this right now. I'm almost out of chakra. I'll use my strongest attack and finish this, he thought, as he went through hand sign, and his sword was covered in lightning again. Both boys rushed at each other, intending to finish this match of theirs with their last attack. Lightning style, thunder dance, Amoy said, as lightning's chakra intensified around his blade. Lightning style, flash tip cutter, Naruto said, as his sword was now cackling with lightning as he vanished in a burst of speed. Both boys swung their swords and were standing with their back faced. Kakashi and Senju smirked, knowing what happened. Suki activated her Sharingan, barely saw what happened but sighed in relief. All the Jonins saw what happened, all the Genins were confused as heck and didn't know what the hell just happened. Blood gushed out of Amoy's stomach as Naruto was standing still there with a small cut on his shoulder but nothing serious. It does my attack and then slash me with that speed, Amoy thought as he smirked as he closed his eyes and drifted to unconsciousness. Winner of the match by knockout, Uzumaki Naruto, Hayate said. Medics! Hayate shouted as the medic ninja came and took Amoy to get his wounds treated. Naruto seated his sword. Man, I haven't had a battle like that in a while. Naruto walked up to the stand, waiting for him. You did good, kid, Senju said, with a proud smile on his face as Naruto smiled back. Congratulations, Naruto, Suki said with a smile, as Naruto smiled and blushed. Karui versus a random Genin of grass and that match Karui wins. So Hinata versus Neji, this goes the same as the canon. Naruto watched Neji beating the crap out of his cousin. Hinata didn't give up, which made Neji very mad as he went for the finishing blow, but before he could, Naruto was in front of him with a sword at Neji's neck. What are you doing, Uzumaki? Neji said in an angry tone. The battle is already over. It's clear as day that you have won, Naruto said as he glared at Neji. It's my destiny to win. She's a failure. Once a failure, always a failure, Neji said with a smirk as Naruto looked at him with a blank look. You know this, Neji. If I fight you, I will make you pay, Naruto said as a purple aura surrounded him. And Senju smirked at the sight. His sword has evolved to its second stage, Senju thought. We will see about that, Uzumaki, Neji said as Naruto removed his sword from his neck. Okay, everyone who won their matches, please come forward, Hayate said. I will hand out your papers and they will be numbers in them, Hayate said. 1, said Gaara. 2, said Sasuke. 3, said Neji. 4, said Naruto. 5, said Suki. 6, said Kurosuchi. 7, said Shikamaru. 8, said Tamari. 9, said Kankura. 10, said Sino. 11, said Yuzito. 12, said Karui. Now, okay, contestants, you may leave the room since you all know your matches. See you all in a month. Naruto, stay behind. I want to talk to you, the Hokage said as he nodded. In the Hokage Tower. Okay, Naruto, congratulations on winning your match, the Hokage said with a smile. Well, what did you expect, old man? Naruto said with a grin as the Hokage chuckled. Do you have plans for your training? The Hokage said. Training, of course. Why do you ask? Senju won't be able to train you for these 2 weeks. That is pretty much half of the month, Hokage said as Naruto raised an eyebrow. Why is that? Well, we got a report from the Sand. Might be planning an invasion and Senju is going to investigate the Sand village. Since suspicious someone knew Senju would not be able to train you. He arrived at the village himself, the Hokage said. Naruto's face lit up. You mean? Yes, the Hokage said, with a nod. But before the Hokage could say anything, Naruto vanished in a yellow flash as the Hokage chuckled. There's only one person that Naruto would be that excited to see, and that was Jiraiya.